I'm Mickey Tyson, founder and chief idea generator at Agile Attitude. Thank you for choosing our self-paced Agile 101 course, consisting of slides, notes and short videos to cover key points. I would recommend that you read the notes associated with each module before watching the videos to see me explain some of the main concepts. Let's get started by looking at the Agile Manifesto and what the values and principles actually mean. Firstly, there are 4 values to the Agile Manifesto. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. So let's have a look at what these actually mean. The first one, individuals and interactions over processes and tools, is all about picking the team members with the knowledge and the skill to make your project successful, and then adding the tools and the processes that they need in order to be efficient, effective and successful. The second one, working software over comprehensive documentation, or as I prefer, working solutions over comprehensive documentation, is super important. There's often an idea that Agile doesn't document, and in fact that's not true. Agile really just says, hey, look at what is a working solution for you, and that will depend on whether you're building a very basic iPhone app or you're building a monitoring system that can potentially save lives. One will definitely require more documentation than the other. So agility is all about figuring out what does working mean to you and then document what it is you need, as opposed to producing arbitrary documentation that isn't required to provide a successful solution. The third one is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And that means creating win-win situations, whether you're working with partners, contractors, clients or suppliers. Agility is about finding the best outcome for all of us, as opposed to trying to profit on somebody else's loss. And finally, responding to change over following a plan. Eisenhower said that in the battlefield, the plan is useless, but planning is indispensable. Plans are all about understanding how we need to make decisions in the future. It's about forecasting and it's about giving us a guide for decision making in the future. And that means that a plan is only ever good if it's actually accurate. So rather than trying to create a plan once and then execute on it, agility is about ensuring that we continuously replan to keep our plan in line with reality and make the best decisions we possibly can. So now that we looked at the values of the Agile Manifesto, let's take a look at the principles. The first one is our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software, or valuable solutions, the way I prefer to think about it. What this is really all about is making sure that we deliver whatever our customers are requiring in small incremental pieces and get that feedback from our environment immediately. Is what we're producing actually valuable? Is it as valuable as we think it is? Or do we need to make adjustments? A second benefit to this is also that if I can release to the marketplace iteratively and incrementally, I may also be able to make return on my investment straight away. The second principle is welcome changing requirements, even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. So this, very similar to the first one, is all about ensuring that you build what you actually need. Small incremental releases mean that I can get feedback from my environment. And this second principle is all about making sure that we actually build what it is we need versus what we thought we needed at the start. Coming back to the fourth value of the Agile Manifesto, which is about responding to change over following a plan. This is very much what we mean here. It's not to say don't have an idea of what it is you want. It's saying have an idea of what it is you want, and if reality turns out a little bit differently, make sure that you actually respond to reality and respond to your needs. Thirdly, we have deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. You may have heard the concept of iterations or sprints in Agile contexts. And this is all about having that short release cycle that we're talking about here. Now, the Agile Manifesto says between a couple of weeks to a couple of months. However, nowadays we really see more of a shift towards a 1 to 3, 4 week time frame. So iterations are definitely becoming shorter. And that preference to the shorter timescale is all about getting faster feedback. The first 2 principles are all about making sure that you use that feedback to build the best solution you possibly can. This third one is about making sure to keep that timescale really, really short in order to reduce the amount of wasted time and wasted effort that you could potentially put in before you get feedback from your environment. The next one is business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Now here, the Agile Manifesto says business people and developers. The way I really interpret this is about the people who have the needs and the requirements, and the people who can solve the problems that these people have should ideally work together as often as possible, and daily would be ideal. This is again to shorten that feedback cycle, reduce wasted effort, and build a better solution on the back of it. Then we have build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and the support that they need, and trust them to get the job done. Later on in the course, we will talk about the concept of self-organizing teams and cross-functional teams, and the importance of these teams in agile environments. Really, this principle is all about do not micromanage. Do not pay people for their brain and then only use their hands by telling them what to do exactly on a minute-by-minute basis. It's about finding good people, creating strong, high-performing teams, setting them goals and targets, and then very much supporting them in the achievement thereof. The next one is the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development or delivery team is face-to-face conversation. And again, here we see that feedback coming in. Through face-to-face conversation, I get immediate feedback. Are you understanding what I'm trying to convey? Are you listening or are you distracted? Do you think you know what I'm talking about, but really I don't get the feeling that you do? Face-to-face conversation is so much richer in getting information across. It reduces the amount of misunderstandings and issues that we may have in discussing requirements, in discussing needs, especially when talking to people from different cultures or with a different native language. So face-to-face conversation is not the only way to get information across, but it will help you be as efficient and as effective as you possibly can be. Then the next one is one of my favorites. Working software or working solutions are the primary measure of progress. This is a slightly tricky one to understand, and we will talk about this a little bit more as we look into agile forecasting and agile planning. For now, remember that progress is the actual completion, to the actual way towards going to a goal, not simply finishing a task and ticking it off a list. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Now this one sounds a little bit weird, but all it really means is to avoid some of those peaks and troughs that we see in traditional project delivery, where especially for the first few months, everyone tends to be relatively laid back, and then we have crunch time towards the end, which I think everyone agrees is not very sustainable on the long term. Agility is about making sure that the way you work is sustainable enough so that you can continuously improve your product without burning people out, without causing people to leave, or without the team falling apart under the pressure. The next principle is continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Now, even outside of a tech space, this is very much about creating small increments of value and building them really, really well to a high standard and to a high quality. Agile is not about simply doing it over and over and over and over again. Agility is about breaking it down very small, doing the best job you possibly can or that you possibly need with that small increment, and then iterating over it and improving it based on the feedback that you get. The next one, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. This is usually one that takes people aback a little bit, but very much what we're saying is the more work you put in, the more effort you put in, not only do you put more effort in at the start, you will also continually require more effort to maintain. Let's say you write a book. If you write a book of 50 pages, the most you ever have to re-edit and rework for a new release is 50 pages. If it has 500 pages, the overall maintenance will be an awful lot more costly and will require an awful lot more effort than the 50 pages. So agility is not about what else can we build. Agility is about what is the minimum amount required to make this as good as we possibly can, and simply leaving out all the rest. Now let's look at the next one. The best architectures, requirements and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. Now here's that concept again of self-organizing teams, and we will talk about this further down the track in this course. For now, really think about a self-organizing team not only has the skills and the knowledge they require in order to provide the right solution or the best solution they can, they also know their limitations. And this is something that we see very often. The best design, the best solution architecture is pretty worthless if the people that have to implement it don't have the skills, don't have the knowledge, don't have the expertise to do it. So I'm very much better off having a problem statement, a problem scenario, and then helping and supporting my team to deliver the best solution that they can. And finally, we say at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behaviour accordingly. If you've been around Agile teams for a while, you may have heard the concept of retrospectives. And this is very much what this principle is all about. Retrospectives are an opportunity for the self-organizing team that we've already mentioned to get together, reflect upon the previous period of time, usually the previous iteration or their previous release, and go, hey, what if the stuff that we're doing works really well? So what are our strengths that we can build upon? What isn't going so well? And what can we potentially do to adjust this and become more efficient and effective as we go? And this is one of the great powers that we see both of agility as well as self-organizing cross-functional teams, is not only that they start off really well, but they actually continue to get better as they go along.